Good morning. Thanks for joining me. Day 20 of the scale model tugboat build. It's a bit of a retrospective today. In other words, some of the work's already been done, and I'm just going to discuss how it went, what I achieved, and the possibilities for the next step. So, grab yourself a cuppa, sit back, relax, and let's have a look at that tugboat build. If you've been with me along this journey, you'll recognise the funnel and the superstructure we've seen before in the videos. I'll hold the boat up, not for too long because it's getting heavier these days. There's not a lot of weight going to be added to it. It's just about there on the weight, but it is heavy enough to be a challenge to hold up for the camera. So this is just going to be a quick overall view, and then I'll put it back down and we'll look at the work. So that's our scale model Banbury Cross, and it'd be a shame not to see the below water stern action. There's the prop shafts minus propellers and the two thruster holes which will be sealed up very shortly. I'm now going to lift off the superstructure and bring it up to speed on where we are with the motors and the mounts. So that's the superstructure. It is quite realistic in scale and size. I think the funnel is a bit too tall, but that can be easily remedied. I attached the funnel to this deck with a single posi-drive screw, and this deck is attached to the sides of the superstructure with a single pop rivet either side, and it's proved to be amazingly useful. It now pivots, and I'm going to keep that design almost as if I planned it. What does the superstructure cover? It covers the two motors These are prop shaft tubes. Remember, folks, these tubes do not rotate. They'll be bonded to the hull at the exit. They purely support the drive shafts, the prop shafts. So these are now rigid. There's a wood base with a tapered angle just to support it a bit more. I don't think we're going to have a lot of vibration or problems in that area. So we see the hole in the deck. The deck almost permanently bolted down with a couple of wing nuts. The new thing I'd like to point out, not sure how we'll see this, behind the motors on the deck near the black witness mark, there's a riv nut, and that's just a nut very much like a pot rivet that's now attached to the deck, and it's tapped out, so I can just drop a bolt in suitable bracket on the superstructure. Drop a bolt in, and bolt it down. I've given myself the option along the way of projects. You're going to need some custom tools. This is a suitable Allen key. It did have another piece, but that's been sacrificed to produce this custom Allen key. So the superstructure now surrounds the motors. A quick removal. I may well attach the superstructure by two other similar riv nuts in the deck towards the rear of the superstructure. So the quick removal of the superstructure is to give me access to batteries, prop shaft drives, and the hole in the deck for ballast, and just for checking for things like water ingress, and there'll be a compartment in there below decks for the electronics. So it's all forming. It's throwing up issues, adjustments at each stage of the build, but that's to be expected. One taster for a future development. A motorised winch. This device I'm showing has been on other projects in the past. It's a low speed, high torque electric motor, and with suitable electronics you can turn the wheel, the drum of the winch in forward and reverse to pay out or bring in line. Now on the Banbury Cross, the actual tug, it had one of these mounted horizontally just visible in the superstructure. So imagine the motor is mounted below deck. In that sort of position, so the motor won't be visible. Did I say this was getting heavy? That's just a taster of what's to come. It's not essential for the stages of development, but in my mind it's another issue, another problem to be solved, put on the back burner of my brain for the future. So superstructure is now encasing the motors, and the model's taking even more shape. That's it for now. Thanks for joining me. Join me again soon for more of the scale model tugboat build.